Our next speaker is Brenda Adams. Brenda has been a member of Carrollwood Toastmasters for the past 4 years. She has been blessed to fill the role of several club offices, and today she is in hot pursuit of becoming an advanced communicator bronze. This evening, she shares an assignment from the Storytelling Manual. Join me in welcoming Brenda Adams with a project entitled, I Am Not a Farmer. Brenda Adams.
The farmer has to be an optimist, or he won't still be a farmer. Those are the words of Will Roger. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Tonight I share a story with you about a young lady who found out late in life that she was, in fact, a farmer. She grew up in the inner city of Chicago. She loved to read. She heard a teacher early on tell her that through the magic of a book, she could tour the world and never leave her seat. She read incessantly. Pirates, princesses, kings, courts, and she did, in fact, tour the world without leaving her seat. Math was not her forte. She was not very good with the numbers. That is, until a gentleman walked into her 5th grade classroom. To her 10 years of growth, he seemed to be a giant. He was so tall, and his eyes must have been the bluest on the planet. She had one desire: to hear every word he said and to learn everything he taught. He was, in fact, the new math teacher. She learned math. She was eager to know the answer to every question he answered. Every homework assignment he gave, hers was done. Every question he asked, her hand was the first to go up in the air. At the end of the school year, she was definitely not only an avid reader, she fell in love with math. Unfortunately, her math instructor stayed there 1 year. So after begging him to stay and him leaving anyway, he did take a part of her heart, but he left with her a love for math that would never leave her. It's funny sometimes when I look back and I think, how do we go from singing and loving numbers early on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pick up sticks, to a square plus b square equals c square, and hating everything there is to know about math. When this young lady grew up, she decided she wanted to be that 6-foot tall, blue-eyed teacher that, for lack of a better word, gave the mystery of math to this little girl. She decided she wanted to be a math teacher. She wanted not the heavy hitters. She wanted to work with those students that struggled with math, those students that, oh, don't make me do math. And she wanted to help them discover the magic there was in numbers. So of course, she worked with the lower students, level 1s, level 2s, and she experienced a great deal of success, a great deal of success. She remembers specifically one small group of middle school students. They all had university t-shirts on she had purchased. One said Harvard, one said Yale, and these kids were middle school, city of Chicago. They were planning, they were looking forward to university experiences. As things went on, things changed in the classroom. It was more politics and less learning. Year after year, it became less the magic in the children's eyes and more this form is due and this form is due and this is the exam you've got to prepare them for and this is the exam you've got to prepare them for. And along the way, it became getting through the week, getting through the month, getting ready for the exam, and less about lighting those fires and those inquisitive minds. More and more it became getting through the year, feeling like she had less and less of an impact. And then on top of all of that, they shut down the system. They tell us now you've got to teach from a screen at your house. And those students that you've been struggling trying to touch bases with, now you don't even do a face-to-face with them. So right about then, she's looking in her email and she's getting 50 and 60 of them per day from her 106 students. It's either from the students or from the parents. So she's opening up this mail and she's already, whew, she exhales because she knows it's going to be from a parent telling her about the ineffective way you're reaching my child, the fact that she hasn't heard from me. So she begins to read, and the letter reads, "Hello, this is Sammy P. As one of my last assignments for my senior year, we have to write messages to different teachers in this hard time. The first name that came to mind was yours. Though I wasn't the easiest student, I loved your class. You were the first teacher I had that I felt actually cared about your students' well-being. In freshman year, I was coming out of a very challenging time, so to have you take me under your wing meant a lot. Looking back as a senior, you're the teacher that I will always remember. I remember when you were in my anatomy class last year, and you said you hardly recognized me because I looked so much happier, and I really am. It was a small encounter, but the fact that you remembered me and noticed I'd changed made me so happy, because I feel like I'm finally comfortable in who I am. This is a very weird time, to say the least, and I can't even imagine what it must be like as a teacher. But I just know, you make a difference in your students' lives. You definitely made a difference in mine. Thank you so much." And after this teacher completely finished slinging snot and pulling herself together, because she had completely fallen apart, she pulled herself together and she wrote back, "I had no idea how challenging this new experience had become until I read your letter. I started crying halfway through and couldn't stop for 20 minutes after I managed to read your last line. I felt like I've been trying to swim in a pool that was completely devoid of water, making no progress and wasting a great deal of time. Thank you for reminding me that there is water in the pool. Even if I can't see it or feel it, there is water. There are students whose lives I get to touch. I get to touch and influence. And if I'm really lucky, I might even inspire. Please know that you have touched our lives as well by learning and growing and reminding us why we do what we do. Continue to be awesome and try to remember that self-discovery is a lifelong project. And you, young lady, are off to a fabulous start. Thanks again." So I'm thinking, I gotta wait 4 years to see the seeds that I planted actually grow. I'm an optimist. And we in Toastmasters are optimists as well. We share our experience, strength, and hope. We share our journey. We share our evaluations. So in fact, we are farmers as well.